if we were standing around the LGBTQ plus water cooler, this is what we would all be talking about. It's our queer hot topic. Life is stressful, and now more so than freaking ever. Rising housing costs, political attacks against our own community, monkeypox, COVID, it's a lot to deal with. And some people turn to drugs and alcohol to try to cope. And I see many people do that, and I can totally see how that happens. Others use sports, video games, or movies to escape. So what are some of the stresses that we are dealing with right now, and what can we do to cope? Our hot topic of the week, how do we cope in LGBTQ+? What do you think, folks?
Well, cope and vote both have 4 letters. And a very big first step is making sure to vote, because the stress level here, and I'm sure in Texas and other places where there are crazy governors, it's at a peak. So vote. You be empowered and go vote. Have your voice heard.
Okay.
And know your voice counts.
And know that your voice counts.
rechannel that energy and do something about it.
That's right. Yeah. And even get out there and encourage people to vote.
Yeah. Go out there and start knocking on doors, and go volunteer with SAVE or Equality Florida, and they'll put you to work real quick.
Yeah, right.
So that would be a way that you would cope. Like it's like kind of like doing your part. Like this is me doing my part.
Like activism in a way.
Make me less frustrated.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
I like that very much.
How about sex? I'd rather sex. I'll vote and have sex. That's if the F word is another 4-letter word. If you want to keep on with the 4-letter words, I got to. This takes me back to during pandemic, right? Like when we didn't really have a choice. We had to. Everything we saw on TV, we were all glued to the TV, and to our social media. Even people that didn't usually watch TV were glued to it because we didn't know what tomorrow meant. We were washing down our freaking food products when we were bringing them home. Remember, we were fighting over toilet paper. We were scared. We were scared of the unknown, and that fear really takes its toll. I know that I go to a couple of AA meetings a week. During pandemic, I went every day, and I needed to. Some days twice a day because I was just so overly censored, or just I was in gloom and doom to the fullest.
Well, you're in your head.
Yeah.
You were so wrapped in our head trying to figure it out. I think laughter is probably the escapism that works best for me.
Yeah.
Funny movies, even if they're ones I've seen before. Musicals, sorry, I had to do the gay thing, but the musicals, I mean, you got a good musical and I am happy. You know, that and a bag of popcorn.
Happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but TV can do that. Like, I would have never watched Tiger King led to my own, in my own thoughts. That was because it was pandemic, and everyone was like, oh, might as well watch this weird white guy with his twinks walking around. Why not? But like stuff like that helped me during that time.
Oh yeah, streaming became really popular during the pandemic.
Did you say screaming?
Streaming.
Oh, streaming. I was like, screaming.
And baking sourdough bread, that was very popular. Baking.
There was no yeast anywhere. You couldn't find yeast anywhere because everybody started baking during that. But that's a good way.
Did you bake?
No, I don't bake.
Did any of you bake?
I'm a big baker, but I didn't because I knew that there was too much sugar in it, and I was trying to avoid it.
I baked some brownies, and my wife got mad. We don't have.
They weren't the right kind of brownies then.
We don't have to say the rest. But stuff like that helps, and that was like during the time that we had to do things outside. Just sending somebody a message at their home outside was something to do.
I love the drive-by birthdays, like the car
and graduations.
And graduations when they went past.
Yes. Baby showers. We did everything with the drive-through.
Yeah, it was great.
I had to put on pants, and I just still honk, we're here. We love
Don't
you.
get out of the car.
Just change the sign.
Throw the food out the window. Here's your birthday cake. Enjoy.
How about working out? Did anybody work out more?
That's
during
exhausting.
That time?
No.
I did a couple of things actually during that situation. I was very much a movie streamer, a binge watcher of everything. That was really the most fantastic escape. But while I was binging, I was sitting on my little upright bike, and I was like, okay, I'm cool. So I watched movies and rode my bike.
I like that you called it a situation.
Yep. It is.
The pandemic was a situation.
It was a situation.
It was
a situation. But the number one thing I did do was I went back to school. I got another degree.
Yes. Very
and
smart.
You know what? It was the smartest thing for me to do, not because it was to get another degree. It was what I chose that actually helped me heal. I chose a master's in creative writing.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of the assignments that were given to us and it was all online, distance learning, of course, obviously. They would give the craziest assignments like write something that happened to you, but add an element of fantasy, or some kind of a twist. So I ended up just churning out all kinds of short stories, and a lot of them kind of helped me remember things that I didn't want to remember, but they helped me deal with them and confront them. And now I feel like, oh, this is good. I evolved a little bit. I recognized things that were paining me and maybe holding me back as a person. So, now I feel that much more lighter.
I love that.
And more carefree.
Did you incorporate hot, sexy lesbians into your short stories anywhere? Because I'd like
Thank
to
you, because that's where I wanted to go, but I wasn't sure how to exactly how to phrase it. Like there had to be some sex thing into that fantasy.
You know what's funny? I'm actually currently writing a poetry book, and I'm not a poet, and this is why I had spoken to Greg about this earlier. I'm like, can I pick your brain? And he was like, oh, no. Greg doesn't like it.
I've written a book.
She's like, I can't be bothered.
I can't be bothered. I'm from Chicago.
No, I'm teasing. But I figured out that you have to find your own voice, your own way. And that's just it. It's not something that you can brain pick another person.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm writing it and I'm figuring it out as I go along. And thanks to actually Greg was holding a poetry night once a month over at Lit Bar. I met some of his colleagues.
Nice.
And we've talked and we've chatted, and now I'm sharing back and forth with them. And I'm like, okay, but there is a little bit of sexiness going on. And
Erotica is good.
But I'm not good at erotica.
He calls it erotica.
I don't know why we call it erotica.
I call it porn on paper. So
porn on paper.
Write some good stuff.
Pop. Porn on paper.
Pop. But,
I call it smart.
Ooh. But a lot of people during pandemic started journaling and writing their stuff down.
Yes.
That's also, powerful and just good for the mind.
Yeah,
a lot of people went back to church. A lot of people did a lot of, church online, and that helped a lot.
Searching, yes.
Me and my wife didn't usually spend a lot of time together, right? And of course, during pandemic, she was in the emergency room at Jackson Memorial, which was like the epicenter of COVID in Miami, right? We're calling it Little Mawang for a little bit. And like she would come in and like, don't even air kiss me. Again, we didn't know anything, right? Yeah. Come through the side door, leave all your clothes in the washer, go take a shower, we'll talk after, And so then about a year and a half into pandemic, then she got moved to work from home. And so we've never worked from home together. We've never been in those kind of quarters for that amount of time. I had nowhere to go. I have a doggy business that was also closed down. My hosting events were non-existent. So I passed the time pulling pranks on her.
I like that.
It would just be fun. Like she would
That's
come into
awesome.
the kitchen and she'd find me on the floor with like ketchup on me, and she would like freak the F out. She's a nurse, and like not like crazy bitch. Hey, what is she doing? And be like, oh my God, what happened to my babies? And then I go, ha 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 ha. And then she's like, that was not funny,
So they were fun for you, but not necessarily fun for her.
Oh yeah, they weren't meant to be fun for her. It was just for me to be okay, and it took my frustration out, and I felt calmer.
But it worked.
That was the topic, right? It worked for me.
Exactly. That was the topic.
Because she wasn't traumatized enough
She wasn't.
by working at Jackson.
She hates insects. Like she's like super afraid of insects. So I got like little fake ones from the dollar store and like threw them in bed while she was taking a nap.
Oh, you are not nice.
Wow. Cuban flipped out. Asked for Castro and everything. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I got to tell you, I ran. I literally ran, and I would run.
Before
every
pandemic,
day.
Dan was like 360 pounds. Now he weighs 75 pounds because of all the running that he was doing.
Dan is a sexy beast, I tell you.
But I got, more than the physical benefits of running, it was about the mental. It really cleared my head.
Because it's like I know runners, and they tell me it's like a meditation almost.
When aren't there like endorphins and stuff?
Wow. So you're running in the crazy streets of Miami where people can't drive, where you can get a permit at 14 and they don't check your eyesight past 70, and you're running down the streets of Miami.
And I literally had to run on the streets because all the people wanted to walk. And the sidewalks in Miami are a little narrow.
Yeah.
So I had to go on the street to run, but hey.
Well, good for you for being outdoors, because I was like, I'm not going outside. So I stayed on my bike. But you know what? I turned my apartment into a nightclub because I couldn't spin, I couldn't do anything. I said, all right, you know what? I'm a
Party at
DJ.
1.
I was like, I got DJ mix sets up the wazoo, killed all the lights, threw on disco lights, and just got on my bike and said, yeah.
Do you have any neighbors left?
They've all left.
Listen, my neighbors were very excited about the music. They were like, oh my God, please turn it up. I love that song.
Oh my God.
So I had the best neighbors ever.
Listen,
really
I know a friend, Karina Iglesias. She was on The Voice, and she is a wonderful lesbian woman of our community. And when she was on my show, she was saying that during pandemic, she would go outside and do shows.
Yeah.
For the people in her
think it's
community.
wonderful.
She would just go
That's
out
great.
there with the speaker and the microphone and take requests and do her own set out there and give those people joy.
I love that.
Well,
I
it did
created a
create
movie.
community,
I
yeah,
created
yeah.
a movie theater in my backyard. I bought a 200-inch screen from Amazon, connected it to my speakers,
Going at
and
the blow?
started live streaming. No, it had its own little plug-in,
Okay.
thing, and it would just
was
stay.
missing from mine.
But it looked like one of those bouncy houses, which was crazy.
Yes,
You
yes.
I've
know,
seen that.
the little
Yeah.
thing.
Yep, I had
I was
the
like,
same one.
okay, cool. And the weather was fantastic during that time. It was actually cool. It wasn't so hot and sweltering the way it is right now. And I'm telling you, I was streaming old movies. I was watching When Harry Met Sally. I was
Bueller, you were doing all.
I was doing all the 80s crazy movies, and the neighbors were coming. I'm like, just bring a lawn chair and have cocktails. And we all sat outside and
$10
watched
fee.
movies every night.
$10. You can sit on my lawn.
It was great.
Popcorn?
Absolutely.
Right.
She did. She did Puerto Rican popcorn.
Absolutely.
It's got a little bit of Bacardi kick. It works really good.
And how many of you started your OnlyFans?
Oh, my OnlyFans page?
Yeah.
No.
No?
I'm still trying to get my grinder back, Dan. Like, they will not give me my grinder back. I don't understand. Like, what the hell?
I had a little kitty cat that arrived during the pandemic.
That's another
In
way.
the very beginning. And here's the crack up. She showed up and I was like, oh my God, whose cat is this? She was really cute. And I'm like, Dito, I'll just give her a little food and whatever. I didn't expect to see her again. She showed up the next day at the exact same time. And I'm like, oh, okay, you have a clock. That's nice. So I'm like, all right, girl, I'll hook you up. So I would give her food. Next thing you know, she
Brought
hung
the family?
around longer than usual, which I was kind of like surprised. A lot more friendlier than a typical skittish, outdoor cat. And I thought, I got on the Nextdoor app. Have you guys heard of this app?
Yes.
I love
Nextdoor is the best.
Nextdoor.
Everybody has it, yeah.
So get this. I made a post on Nextdoor and I said, hey, sweetest little black kitten here. I don't know if I can afford her because the truth is
It's
there
pandemic. Yeah,
there are
yeah, yeah.
3 cats in my house right now. I don't know that I have it. Do you know that all my neighbors were DM'd me, give us your address, and they sent me food from Chewy,
that's so
from
sweet.
Walmart.
That's really nice.
And one woman who I've never met actually sent me a message and said, call this number and speak to this person. You have a $300 credit at this clinic. Get all her shots, everything. And
That's beautiful.
that little black cat became the heart of my house.
Aw. And she's
And-
still with you, and we named her Pfizer.
I love her.
Oh,
I named her Sally after When Harry Met
love
Sally.
it. I
so.
love your sweet little story that could have been 30 seconds, and you spread it out to 5 minutes.
Sorry, I'm
So
sorry.
we're basically playing. Next, we're just going to play.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.